Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Welcome. This is the Lodestone One Q&A, and we're here every Friday. And today I've got two wonderful guests, so I'm so excited. And welcome to LinkedIn members. Welcome to YouTubers too. We're streaming live to both today, so welcome. And yes, let me first of all tell you that this week's Q&A is about whole body listening. Now, you may think that sounds very strange. I'll explain everything. Remembering that I come from a tradition of Buddhist training and indigenous wisdom, a whole combination of things. And a lot of these skills I've been taught by tribal elders and Buddhist gurus and so on and so forth. So I'm bringing them all together into Lodestone. So let's get started soon. But before I do give you a small presentation, just to explain what whole body listening is, let me introduce my wonderful guests. I'm going to invite them onto the stage. I'm going to put them onto the stage in a moment. Here we go. There they are. Wow. What a wonderful sight. Lovely. Okay, let me just introduce them to you. So Dr. Muhiba Jamusi is a certified transformational relationship coach. And she's a former university professor like me, and she helps professional women overcome challenges such as self-doubt, stress, burnout, or toxic relations like me too. And she helps them have a work-life balance, resolve conflicts, and have healthier relations, both personal and professional. So welcome, Dr. Jamusi. It's great to have you here. And also Ebi Sheila, who was here last week with me, and she's a great supporter of what I'm doing. We're, again, very similar in what we're doing. But she's an empowerment guide, working with women to embrace their authentic selves. She was born in England. Her journey was shaped by personal struggles, which she told us about a little bit last week. And then she broke through these struggles and started to realize that mental fitness was so important, and the balance between body, spirit, and mind was so important. So now she empowers women worldwide to rewrite their stories and step into their power. And her programs include Break Free from Toxic Relationships, so we've all got this in common, and Journey to Self-Mastery. And she offers tools to overcome trauma, confront self-doubt, and build unapologetic confidence. So this is wonderful. We are all very in tune. You know about me, and so I won't repeat all that, but I'm doing very similar things, except I'm a somatic mentor. So I work primarily with the body, and that's my background, body work. So without more ado, allow me to give you a little presentation. I won't take long, I promise, but I just want to give you a taste of what whole body listening is. Let me add my presentation to the stage if I can. Just 1 minute. There we are. Okay, and I'll just go into the big view. There we are. Okay, so we can all see. Okay, so yeah, the art of whole body listening. Now, right away, you may think, wow, gosh, how can I listen with my body? Well, let me show you. The word to hear is really interesting. The root of that word is very ancient German, and originally it meant to pay attention, not just with ears, but with breath, with bones, with skin. You see, before electricity, people couldn't really see very much in the dark times. And so their species of listening was quite different to what it is today. And I would say it was much more like hearing than listening. Listening is a very intellectual skill for me, and we are constantly being encouraged to listen more. Yeah. But if we go behind that and before listening became so important or so unimportant as it seems, then whole body listening was very common. And it's not a metaphor. Okay, I don't really deal in metaphors. I want to take you to reality. And so really whole body listening is purely somatic skill. In other words, a body skill. And we can all do it. All of us. We've forgotten. Yeah, the mind forgets. The mind forgets. The body never forgets. And so it's my mission to really get you to understand that your body remembers everything if you trust it. People have lost trust in their bodies, I think. So it's not a metaphor. Let's go on a little bit longer. So what is it? Well, it's not just passive attention. It's not all about ears and being focused around here, which is very close to the brain and makes it very cerebral. Okay. It's much more about the whole body. And my product, Lodestone, which I released in June this year, really encourages you through audio transmission to become a living antenna. Yeah, because inside your body you have 4 compasses. And my Lodestone helps those compasses to be recalibrated, to really quiver towards true north, so that the whole body, spirit, and mind is balanced. And yes, if you become a living antenna, then you can sense vibration. Yeah, sound is vibration. That's all. We intellectualize it into something else. It's really just vibration in the universe. Really good example of sound is a tuning fork. Musicians use a tuning fork, they bang it on their chair, and this incredible sound fills them, fills the orchestral hall or wherever they are. And it's just vibration. But the harmonies have been very carefully aligned. So we can become a living antenna, and thus we can sense vibration. We have emotion, which is also vibrational, and those are truth. They are the truth about human beings. I really believe that. So, yeah, I experience something very strange when I'm using whole body listening. I can feel the universe, the whole universe pressing against me. And of course, this happens in remote places so beautifully. And I first experienced this in the South Australian desert, way away from any kind of civilization, with a tribe of Australian Aboriginals who taught me how to listen with my whole body. So yes, to me, it's a sensation of the whole universe touching me. And it's very much connected with my breath. Yes, you know, in previous Q&As, I've talked about breathing a lot, and breath and listening with your whole body go very much together. So that's a little peep into what it is. Now, another extraordinarily, maybe, hopefully inspiring idea comes from the Buddhist teachings, and also Sufi teachings and Ayurveda, which I know a lot about. And we talk about the 84,000 skin pores. Can you imagine all your skin pores? Well, we say in Buddhist teachings 84,000. So that gives you a really wonderful sense of just how many skin pores you've had. And it's fairly accurate, actually, medically. The science behind all this is that your skin is really the only thing that separates you from the invisible world. Now that's maybe a little deep, but I'll tell you more in a moment. Yes, the skin holds mechanoreceptors and also thermal receptors. So we are so receptive through the skin. And you know this, I know you know this, but we want the body to remember this. And so if we listen through the skin, this really is a very thin membrane that separates us from the physical world, the visible world, and the invisible world. And I think that's a lovely way to think of it, that we are not so separate from all the universe. Yeah. Our bodies are vessels that are filled with spirit, and we develop the mind, we develop other skills and tools, but we are really essentially spirit first. So let's just move on a little bit further. My favorite cat. This was my cat many years ago, actually. And you can see by looking at this animal, every hair follicle, every skin pore is alert. Of course, it's looking for something to eat, or there's a threat nearby, but this is whole body listening. And creatures do it all the time. So in my work, I often refer to the tiger stalking through the jungle. Every skin pore, every hair follicle alive to any vibration. The vibration may be a threat, but it may be the next meal too. So this reminder from the animal world, I think, can work to help you realize that you can listen with your whole body. Okay, so now with my Lodestone, which is developed from all my experience, listening with your whole body becomes part of the practice. Because we do something called detecting vibration. And this is where I take you inside your inner core, inside the stillness, and I awaken your sensations so that what you're experiencing becomes a felt sense. And a good way to think of this is that you're not listening for something, you're listening as something. And so there's a symbiotic relationship with the universe. Okay, you're listening as something. And in fact, many people who've done this training with me have been amazed how thin the skin is and how close they get to something so much greater. And you can see here in my little drawing, these are the four main compasses. The brain, the brain stem, the pineal gland, which is between the eyes, the heart and lungs, the solar plexus, which is our sun, our inner sun, and then right at the base of the spine, this all aligns with the spine, is the base chakra, and this is the greatest energy center of the whole body. Heat cameras will show it really so hot. And you'll notice if you get tired, where do you feel it first? Possibly in your low back. Many people I know say, oh, my low back is aching. That usually means their base chakra is not functioning properly because they're tired or they're sick or whatever it is. So this whole line of compasses, you can see, can easily make you into a human antenna. Okay, Let's just move on a little bit more quickly. Now, again, I've done a couple of whole sessions on the vagus nerve. Not many people know about it. The vagus nerve is your 10th cranial nerve. It runs from the brain right down the torso, right down to the gut, past the heart and lungs, and into your arms. And the vagus nerve is really not toned up in modern life because we're sequestering everything we do to our mind, to our brain, to this part of the body. So the body is not really working properly. And so the vagus nerve is poor in tone, perhaps. This can really affect you terribly because the vagus nerve is the most important biofeedback nerve of the whole body. It feeds back immediately to the brain. So you can see if your vagus nerve is poor in tone, you're just not going to get the signals. And this is what's happening with burnout, with imposter syndrome, with all of these horrible syndromes that are happening to us. We're not hearing the distress signals. This is probably because your vagus nerve is not toned up. So Lodestone works to tone up your vagus nerve. And so this all connects with your inner compasses, which are calibrated via the vagus nerve. Just a little story, when I was with tribal elders in South Australia, we would be walking through the hot desert, and suddenly they would stop and they would stand on one leg. And in fact, I learned to do this. Just put one leg down on the earth and the other leg rests against that standing leg, and they would become stock still. At first, we just couldn't understand what they were doing. But what they were doing was toning up their vagus nerve. And it's since been heavily researched that Australian Aboriginals can detect vibrations at 7, 8, 9 miles away. They have extraordinary tone with the vagus nerve. And this is because they are whole body listening all the time. Yeah, heaven. Yeah, okay, so just a little more. Your spine is really important. And I work a lot with the spine. And this really can become your channel for truth instead of effort. So we have this work ethic which kind of draws us into working hard and working as hard as we can. Some of us, not all of us. But really, if your spine has become your truth channel, and it is indeed your consciousness, which is conveyed down the spinal cord, which is inside the spine, right inside here, you will find your spinal cord, which is where consciousness is stored. So if you are really in tune with your spine, then you don't have to make much effort in life. You certainly don't have to get burnt out. And the skin is remarkable. It receives so much. And the breath responds. So if we use all these amazing resources that our miraculous bodies already have, instead of ignoring them, then you can see we can live a very different kind of life. So yes, you become a very different kind of person when you relate to your skin. You become a compass, and you become the message. The message isn't something at the side. You are the message. This has liberated many people I've worked with. Yeah, it's like the idea of the river. You've heard me say before, I am a river. I'm not sitting by the side of the river. I am the river. And that river is flowing on to the great ocean of all existence. So we have to be more. Yeah, this is the answer to many of our problems, our negative syndromes, and so on at the moment. Now, just a little word about my lodestone. Well, yeah, it's a series of audio transmissions. The lodestone, by the way, if you don't know, is in fact an ancient compass. Before the mechanical compass was invented, lodestone rock became used for finding the route if you were sailing or perhaps in the desert with no stars and sun. Um, and so I love this because the earth already is pointing to true north. It already produces magnetic rock, and we humans are part of the earth, and so we can point to true north. And so my lodestone is a 30-day embodiment journey, and I will guide you via audio. There's an ebook, quite a complicated ebook, and of course you can download this immediately. So I've created the Lodestone Sanctuary, I call it, which is where you go to do your listening every day to my audio work and to pick up your ebook. And so there are two questions I'd like to leave you with. Which part of my body listens most clearly? I'm going to ask our wonderful guests in a moment. Which part of your body listens most clearly? And yeah, to remember, if you remember nothing else about this presentation, I'd like you to remember that you are wired, already wired, to receive the truth of your unique life path. Every single human being is unique, unique DNA, unique path. And we're already wired to know that truth, but the mind can interfere with that. And we get distracted, we get pulled away from that fact. So that is the end of my presentation. Let me come back to you. Oh, just want to, there we are. Okay, we're just coming back. A little bit of interference here from the internet signal, I think. Okay, so let's put this presentation away. It's enough of that. And let's our wonderful guests. So I hope you've got your microphones on, my wonderful guests. Oh, just remove that again. There we go. Oh, and I'll just open up so we can see you in full Technicolor. Wonderful. Okay. All right. So, Dr. Muhiba, you start. Which part of you listens the best?
Hello everyone. What a pleasure to finally meet. Because of time zones and all the confusing time zones, we have managed, and that's the beauty of it. We have
Yes.
discarded all these challenges and finally come together to
Yeah.
talk and exchange these wonderful ideas. Thank you so much, Lyndon, for inviting me. Thank you, Abby, for being with us. And thank you, all participants, all the audience, for coming here too in our space. So, which part of me? I have often said I could never answer this question because it's always every part of me. Me, I can never dissociate between my emotions, my mind, my spirit, my soul. It's all the time one. The only times they have not been one, I have not been well.
Mm,
And I have warnings. Watch it.
mm,
And these are the rare times I have had burnout or unease in my life or lost touch with who I am. Otherwise, I am one And as we say in coaching, I am whole. And so when I listen to you, every part of me is in connection with you. And you would immediately tell if I'm not connected to you. So that's my answer. I
Wonderful.
am wholeheartedly with you. I listen to you. And if I miss something, I say, excuse me, I was distracted. And distracted means every part of me was distracted. So I can't even catch up. So I go back to you and thank you for the question. Wonderful question.
Wonderful answer. Thank you. And I could have predicted all of that, actually. But wonderful answer and a great example. Fantastic. Super. Abby Sheila, what about you? Which is your most listening part?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Okay, so like Dr. Mohiba said, I guess all of me, but if I have to say which one, first of all, thank you. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for everybody for listening. I always forget to say that, so better put that in.
Thank you.
Um, so for me, if I have to really think and go within and really, really focus, I would say it's different. It depends on, so if it's a good thing, so if I'm stressed or feeling anxious,
Mm,
where am I feeling it in my body? I would say in my belly, maybe the lower part of my belly.
mm,
That's where it is. And it was amazing when you talked about the back pain, because I had a lot of that in past years. And
yes.
that's one area I really focus on when I'm having issues. And I've been working on my grounding, or should I say centering, and that part of me, realizing that there's been a weakness there. And they said if you haven't done the lower part, don't bother working on the upper part, because
Ah,
from there, and because I know that I have problems with my with speaking up, so with my throat chakra, and that manifested in me having an autoimmune problem in terms of my thyroid.
ah, oh
Yeah,
dear.
and
Yeah.
so I had to start doing that work and like listening to my body. And I know it presents itself in a medical way in terms of lack of nutrients and things in your body. But I noticed that from the mind perspective, that was it. I wasn't able to ever voice myself. I would always keep things within because I was worried about rejection,
Mm,
imposter syndrome, all those things that you worry about. So I think if I say this, people are going to think that. If I say that, people are going to think that, which is not true because people understand if you come in a nice way. People who don't understand, well, that's their problem.
mm,
So yeah,
absolutely.
so but in terms of a happy side of things, where do I feel that in my body? So when I'm feeling happy, where do I feel that? I guess in my heart, it's like,
Mm,
oh, either thumping faster, or it's like it feels like it's going to explode.
great.
Um, because of maybe
Wonderful.
the joy or the love. And for me, it's work in progress because I've been doing it for almost 10 years, but when you've built a habit, it's difficult to get a new habit. So building that habit of taking a back step, taking deep breaths, closing my eyes, taking deep breaths, and just feeling. Yeah. So
Excellent. Excellent. You're away. Yes, I think it's such an amazing resource that we all have to be able to just sink down into our inner core and just be totally ourselves. And that's what really I'm working with all the time with Lodestone and with my general work, that we have all the answers inside us. But the mind has pulled us out. The I, of course, the I has pulled us out too. And we have lost touch with our true nature. And so the tagline for Lodestone 1 is glimpse your true nature. And what it does over 30 days is it takes you down through all those layers of conditioning, of expectations from others, all the stuff that you've stored up in your mind, into the wisdom of the body, where those things don't exist. So I know exactly what you mean by that wonderful resource that I think we all have to go inside. Yeah, in fact, I get stuck in there and then I forget what day it is. I almost forgot what month it was with Dr. Muhibag. I said July, didn't I? I'm so much kind of inside that I forget when it is and what it is. And yeah, it's wonderful. But it's not oblivion. No, it's not oblivion. Okay, now I don't want to keep people too long. So we've been talking about leadership together, the three of us, quite a lot. And this all came about from a wonderful presentation that Dr. Muhiba gave us a couple of weeks ago on leadership. And she had researched it so beautifully right up until now. And she talked about all the trends and so on. And then I came up with wanting to talk about self-leadership, because I'm working with, well, I'm not working with them yet, but I am surrounded by coaches who don't seem to understand that if people can't lead themselves, how can they lead others? And then we have imposter syndrome, because something's working with your team or your group, but you don't feel in control of that. It's a kind of performance almost. So I've been talking to a lot of coaches about this, and realized very quickly that they don't really know how to embody leadership for themselves. And so this is my big premise. And so I've got quite a few questions here. Yeah, and maybe we can tackle a couple of them. In fact, I've got lots of questions, but not much time. So what about this one? Shall we try? How can a leader begin to reconnect with their true nature after years of burnout or performance-driven living? Anybody?
Burnout, if I may start, burnout,
Yes, please.
I can understand when we get it first time around, because it comes unexpectedly. It sneaks. I often say it sneaks into our life.
Yes, I agree.
And we don't recognize it. When I got my first burnout, that's years and years ago, when I had not heard of the word burnout. Today, people are more careful, more suspicious, I would say, that, oh, this may be burnout. We didn't know. We thought it was fatigue. We thought it was, oh, I'm tired. No, no, no. Burnout is like, I can use a metaphor because I come from literature. Metaphors come to me. And so it's like a snake that sneaks into our lives. And by the time it's there, it's going to take some work. And if we wait, it's going to take a lot of work. So the more we know about it, the more careful and cautious we are, so that we don't get there. And when we do, we are alert and try to do something about it. That's the first point about it. Then later, if we happen, and we do have other burnouts, we would know it and say, not you, not again, I know you. And so burnout becomes vulnerable and we become stronger, having known that one. How do we get out of it? Take everything you can. First, you are going to be obliged to take a break. It's no longer a choice. Once we have a burnout, that's it. That's it. You need a proper break. You need to relax and do exactly the opposite. I had my burnout when writing my thesis. So I looked at the books, and the books looked awful. They looked weird. You know, I was, that's not being exhausted. That's
Mm.
something else. So
Mm.
I had to change rooms. I had to stop my thesis for a couple of months, and I had to get out, get out, get out, get
Mm.
out of it all. That's one way of facing burnout, self care, and never refrain from your what I call your support system. Anyone trying to help. We are neither the, as Vanessa mentioned, the good girl or the iron lady. We
Mm.
are a human being who wants to be refreshed. So if someone says, "Let me take care of the kids and get out and go into nature," I'll say, "Oh, how wonderful! That's what I need." Yes,
Mm.
some relief, some relaxation. I would go out swimming, and I often
Mm.
say when I go swimming, I get all the precious, and I say I come out of the sea clean inside out, and I am rejuvenated. So go there where you know you are going to feel better. Talk to someone pleasant, no toxicity. Talk about lovely things, lovely memories. That's how
Yes.
I could face my burnout and get out of it, get out of it, get away. That's the word. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. That's the way to get away from it.
Yes. Great, great advice. Yes. And I think that's, of course, what happens. I've just been working with someone who has really experienced this terrible thing, burnout. And poor thing, she just kind of imploded, really, and didn't want to talk, didn't want to do anything. She just wanted to cry all the time and so on. And so we had to let her do that for a while. But then gradually I started to talk to her about, you know, exciting things, or as you say, something beautiful, you know. And now she's fine. She's got back her equilibrium. And the other day I said, "Oh, I'm so pleased you've overcome this. It's taken her a couple of months." And she said, "Lyndon, I am a different person. Something really has shifted inside me, and I feel totally different." So that's the other side of this, that, you know, although it's awful and horrible, I've never experienced it personally, actually, but although it's horrible, and I know that, um, those things that are horrible, for example, you saying, "Oh, I looked at my beloved books and they looked threatening and they looked, you know, I didn't recognize them." All the things we love become hideous to us. Um, well, that to me is actually a blessing in disguise, because what it means is we are going to reset everything. And I think that's what a burnout is. I like to look at it very positively, not a syndrome, not any of that, as Vanessa said to us the other day. You know, it's very positive because it means you have this opportunity to reset, just like your computer when it goes wrong. You know, it's steaming and not doing what you want it to do. So you switch off and you reset the whole system. So I think this is what has happened to my friend and my client, and she feels renewed totally. Did you experience that, Muhiba, well, after your burnout? Did you?
First, I felt protected. Now, from now on, I know you. I didn't know I had that enemy over there. So now I say, no, no, get out. I don't
Mm,
need you in my life. And so,
mm,
very early, I would be prepared to say, yeah, let's get out. Let's have a break. Let's have a nice weekend out. And once
mm,
you have it, you are already using everything in you to renew
mm,
yourself. You go to one party. I remember nearly having I went to one party. I danced like wild and I laughed and I ate and my friends. What is left of the burnout? Burnout went, poor thing, away. All miserable, couldn't affect me.
mm.
That's how I felt it. And
Yes.
just to
Great.
conclude on this point, whenever one makes a mistake, it becomes a mistake when you get nothing out of it. If I made a mistake concerning myself, I say, what have I learned? If I've learned something, it stops being called a mistake. It becomes a life lesson. And
Yes.
every mistake, everyone without exception, is bound to teach us something.
Mm,
Experience. I now know better.
yes, it's feedback. Every mistake is feedback, really, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
And if we can detach from it and move on and keep the river flowing, then we learn so much from it. And if we didn't have these down times and these mistakes, in inverted commas, then maybe we wouldn't learn so much. I think they're necessary. In the same way, talking about literature, adversity has created so many great writers and musicians and composers, hasn't it? Getting to that limit provokes the creative spirit, and the most extraordinary works have come out of adversity. So, yeah, to me, it's a part of our natural progression. Um, so, yes, thank you. And Ebi Sheila, what about you?
Can you repeat the question again? Because I missed part of it. Going through
Okay.
burnout, part
Well,
of it.
we were talking about how leaders.
Well, now what's the question? Yeah, what was the question? So,
The question was, how can leaders who have burnt out, how can they reconnect with their true nature after years of burnout or performance-driven living?
okay, great. That's the bit I wanted to get. Yeah. So burnout, like Dr. Mohiba said, and you've also alluded to, it just sneak up on us. And I have had burnout. I was a single mother, full-time job, and also studying, writing. So I didn't know, and like you said, it just sneaks up on you. So how did I resolve that burnout? Because when it happens, it's very different from exhaustion. You might think it's exhaustion, but it's more than that because it's very psychological, and you can actually go into depression if you're not careful, and then when it's there, they might be difficult to come out. Um, but you just can't do anything. You can't move. You just can't do anything. And so, how did I manage? For me, it was hard. I think because I had young children and as a single parent, I had no choice but to come out of it because I had a choice either stay that way or let my children go down the tube. That was my choice. And so I had to make the choice to find out without knowing what it really was. And one of the things that helped me was realizing that love for self. So the love for self and the mental fitness is what I teach people. So the love for self helps you to understand that you do need to take time out for self.
Mm,
You don't need to say yes to everything. Because you have, and I think you said that earlier on, for leadership, you can't be a good leader if you don't know how to lead. You can't teach, it's always you first. Not in a selfish way, but it's always you first. Because if you don't put you first, you will definitely end up burnout after a while. It took me more than 20 years to get to burnout because I was always putting other people first. And I'm not saying in a selfish way, but put yourself first in terms of your self-care. You need your sleep. You need to take time out for yourself every day if possible, and maybe detach once a week, maybe like you said, go dancing, go swimming,
mm,
something that you enjoy, something that
mm,
you enjoy, maybe even if it's sitting out in nature by yourself for 15, 20 minutes, just your own time.
mm,
That's so important.
yes, absolutely. I totally agree with you. And the idea that we have to put ourselves first is has been really exploited by overwhelming religious beliefs. I think one of my research topics at the moment is sacrifice, because I believe that people sacrifice themselves because they feel it's the right thing to do. They've been conditioned to think it's the right thing to do. And so, yeah, people just put themselves on the altar and sacrifice themselves to their work, for example, or to their family, or whatever it is. And I truly feel that those remnants of this idea of sacrifice have to be cut away, because we have to think of ourselves first, and especially if we're leading others, which in a way we all are leading others by just being social creatures. You know, our social connections really mean that we are leading all the time, because we
Yeah.
hypnotize each other. All of this is going on all the time. So we are leaders, all of us, I believe. But if we sacrifice ourselves and we don't speak up, and that's what you mentioned, Eddie Sheila, part of your history is that you didn't say what you felt.
Setting
And
boundaries. So I
yeah,
didn't set my boundaries.
yeah, yeah. So I think, especially for women, and if we come back to women, cultures dictate that they don't speak out. Here in Japan, where I live, it's awful. The women here, even now, young women, their voices are so tiny. It's amazing. So they speak like this, and it's very high
It's
pitched.
not ladylike, is it?
That's right. It's not ladylike to have a big booming voice. Well, that's I think a complete, travesty, really. But here in Japan, it's very, very, very emphasized. And part of my work the last 20 years has been teaching young women to stand out and shout, and getting them to be angry and cry, and getting them to express themselves, because they can't with Japanese teachers, but with foreign teachers, they will. There's a better chance. So I've had many very explosive classrooms with women screaming and shouting and throwing things, getting them to really activate their true nature. And they're all great now. And most of them are overseas, and they're strong, and they've got their own business and so on. So, yeah, it's really a big problem for women in certain cultures. I was speaking yesterday to someone who works for the Japanese government, and she's trying to help to liberate Afghani women, because Afghani women are trapped inside the house. They can't learn anything. There's no internet. They can't go for education anywhere. They are just slaves trapped in their houses by their fathers and husbands and so on. And so she's got friends who are trying to help them to escape and get them over the border into Pakistan, so that they can actually start to learn and so on. So, yeah, I think this is a really big problem for women, especially. So, yeah, we're running out of time. I could go on with this for hours, but I'm very conscious that you're busy people, and in fact, I've got to another call at 6. So at what time is it? Whatever time it is with you, whatever day it is, whatever month it is. I won't put my foot in it this time. Anyway, so I'm really hoping that if you feel so disposed, that you'll come back again, both of you, and we can continue on with this, I think, very interesting discussion.
It's so interesting.
From
Thank you so much.
3 different perspectives, 3
You're
very
right.
perspectives. I'm very interested.
Yeah, absolutely. Particularly when you touched upon culture, you will. What I was having in mind is exactly the opposite, because I come from Tunisia. It's Mediterranean. So when women are wronged, they shout, break the house, go crazy, go wild. So I have to calm them down and say, yeah, you can do everything you like calmly. Let's calm down first. So you see, Culture
Yes,
is something we
yes,
could go into next time, and
yes.
it's amazing. And one
I think
point
that
I
would be
wanted
great.
also to add concerning men, women. I often say, you women, you always do it. You spoke of imploding because and imploding, and they go in. So what happens? A woman is not feeling well. She stays at home. She doesn't feel well at all. She goes to her bedroom. Oh, things are not being better. She goes into her bed. She goes into medicine. She goes in. Men do exactly the opposite. They're not
Yes,
feeling
yes,
well. They open the door, clacking, bam, they are out.
yeah,
Go out with
absolutely.
friends. If they want to pray, they go to the temple. If they want to drink, they go to the bar. They meet
Yeah,
friends. They go to other girlfriends, whatever. And they
yes,
come back, they are all
cleared out.
healed, cleared
Yes,
out.
yeah,
And
yeah,
their wife is still crying over what happened. I say, do the same. Get out.
yeah,
Get out. He goes out, you go
absolutely,
out. Enjoy life.
absolutely.
Don't do until you crack. That's
Yes.
it. That's what I wanted to
Oh,
add.
excellent. I know exactly what you mean about Tunisia because I lived in the Pyrenees opposite Tunisia, and there were a lot of Tunisians around, and the women were really scary.
Absolutely. Because not
So
expected.
strong.
It's not
Yeah,
expected. They
no,
become scary because it's not expected
that,
at all.
that's
We
right. Yeah,
expect, as you said, do,
yeah.
quiet voices, not with Tunisians. You better not expect this. You
But
won't
you
get it.
know what? You can still be powerful with a quiet voice. But I
That's what
think
I
because,
tell them.
but I
Yes,
That's what
think
I
because
tell them.
we don't have, as women, somehow we give our power away because we think the louder is the more powerful,
No,
but not
no.
necessarily. So we need to take that ownership back
Yeah,
and that power back.
yeah.
And even though we might be more gentle, but still take it back rather
You
than
are
mm,
more
giving away. I think,
powerful.
yeah,
yes,
You are more powerful when giving your arguments in a quiet,
yeah,
soft
yes,
way. You still have
yes.
powerful arguments
yeah.
without all the shouting. That's exactly what I do with my clients. Get out, cool down, and say it powerfully. Say it. Yeah.
So you need both, really. We need to be shouting and screaming, and we also need to be demure and dignified. And yeah, in fact,
Yeah.
women can have it all if they just
Yeah.
ignore men.
And depending on which culture you come
Yes,
from
yes,
quiet, come on, you come from loud, go down, so
yeah,
that we get that equilibrium, perfect equilibrium.
absolutely. I totally agree. Well, this is a great topic for next time, but I really
Absolutely.
think, given your next masterclass, Muhiba, your next
Yes,
leadership
yes,
masterclass next week,
yes. Next
then
Wednesday.
this is very compatible, isn't it? I think. Uh,
Absolutely so.
yeah,
Absolutely so.
and
Yes,
also Abby Sheila's summit coming up, which I'm honoured to
yes.
be speaking at. Then all of this, energy we are generating together as women will
Absolutely.
make your summit superb, I think.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you for both of you for inviting me. Thank you, Lyndon, for
Oh,
inviting me today and next time. And thank you, Abby,
Thank
for inviting me
you.
to the summit. Wonderful.
Thank
yes,
you
it's
so much.
wonderful.
Yeah, I love these discussions.
Wonderful.
Yes, me too. And I really want to go more deeply into, all of the things that I'm working with, like whole body listening, and go more deeply into that because it's really fascinating. So that
Absolutely
we
so.
can become exemplars for people watching, and especially with a view to healthy leadership
Oh, yes,
in
yes, yes,
companies and so on. We
yes.
want our leaders to be completely genki, as we say in Japan. Genki means so healthy,
Yeah,
and so, yeah, if we keep talking about this and keep becoming excellent examples, then I'm sure that will have a tremendous effect on other people watching. So thank you so much, both of you. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you'll come back next week. I'll invite you, but of course, I know you're busy. So if you're too busy, please don't, take the time from what you're doing. So this is Lodestone Q&A, Lodestone 1 Q&A. In fact, Lodestone 2 is on the drawing board at the moment. So I'm really excited about Lodestone 2, which I think will be probably ready before Christmas. I hope so. So thank you so much. And thank you so much, LinkedIn members and YouTubers. If you're tuning in, we will replay this, and I will also write a report, and maybe Sheila and Dr. Muhiba will contribute to that as well, so we can continue in comments.
Yes. Thank you so much, and see you next time.
Bye.
Have fun. Bye. Take care.
Thank you so much. What wonderful guests. I so enjoyed them. And please come back next week. We're going to continue talking about very interesting topics, and you can be part of that. And, we want to include everybody. So thank you so much for tuning in today, and we'll see you next Friday for Lodestone 1 Q&A. Have a great weekend. Bye.